Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to yet another review. Okay, and this review is going to be on the new show called A Reasonable Doubt that is only exclusive on Hulu at this time, girl. Okay, so I have already watched like all three episodes, but I'm gonna do three separate reviews for them, and of course, we're gonna start with episode one. But I just want to say that the show is getting good. I was struggling doing reviews for episode one and two, but once I watched episode three, I said, "Oh, episode three, okay, we getting somewhere, girl. We getting somewhere." And then I went back and watched, episode one again, and I was like, "Okay, episode one and episode three was really good. Episode two was like, oh, okay, okay, we just moving along, but we learned some things in episode one, and it seems like we're really getting somewhere." In episode three. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay. Episode one. First of all, we meet a woman by the name of Jax. Okay. I believe it's Jacqueline Stewart, but she goes by Jack. Okay. She happens to be an attorney at this law firm where she is primarily the only black woman there. But it seems like she holds stake in the company because her name is also, you know how they may have, Brown, Lee, and Stewart law firm or whatever, however it is, she has some stake in the company. So she also has some say in the company. You feel what I'm saying? So she's very important to them. Now, when the show opens up, we see her being held against her will. And that was like 6 months prior. And we also hear a gunshot go off, but we don't know if she was a person that was harmed. Like, cause you know how they hype it up, girl. The person could have shot in the air. They could have shot on the side of her to demand information. They could have actually, shot her child, who knows? Or the person with the gun getting ready to clap her probably could have been the person that ended up getting clapped. We don't know, but they sent us down this cycle of 6 months prior. So I'm believing as we go through the other episodes, we're still 6 months prior, but we're working up to present day of what we saw at the top of the episode. Now, how I'm going to split this up because it was so much, back and forth. I'm going to start with her family and then we'll break down going into her different clients, okay? So, first off, this is what we know. She's separated from her husband. She has two children, a girl and a boy. Even though she and her husband are separated, he has his own home. She has her own home, or at least their old home. They still have some type of love and care for each other, right? And they still go to church together or whatever, child. Sit up there next to each other and joke on the other church members and get a kiki and a cackle out of it. Now, we learned that Jax is a woman. Over time, we really gonna see what it is with Jax. Jax is a person that's always busy. She loves to be busy all the time, and she's crazy, like heavily involved in her work. And I was over here like, girl, Jax must be a Leo or something. Like, what is going on? Okay, so like I said, we learned that Jax is always busy, and I think that's the very reason why she and her husband separated. It's because she works too much, and she doesn't want to be controlled or told that she needs to do better. Like whenever her husband kind of asks her about work, sometimes it seems like she really tenses up. Like, don't ask me about that. Da, da, da. Like she don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why. Maybe because she knows, like, okay, that is you right. That's what it's giving to me. Like she knows that he's right when he brings up work and shit, right? Anyway, her husband decided to hire a security, right? A security guard, a security escort, whatever he is. Girl, he's definitely giving security escort. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, and so her husband hires security for her because he's not in the home. So because he's not in the home and she is a high profile attorney and she deals with a lot of criminal cases and things, he decided to hire her some security when he's not there. Okay. What's also interesting is when he does this, the kids are like, well, Daddy, why don't you just move back in so that we can have the security? And he's like, well, not right now, whatever, whatever. And so the son wants to go hang out with the dad. And when the mama is talking to him, it's like he looks right past her like she ain't even say nothing to him. And he wants to keep talking to the dad, asking him, can I come to the house and play that new video game you're working on? So obviously the dad is a video game designer and he's also, it seems like he's into tech. And we'll get into that, okay? The whole security system and all of that stuff, okay? So I'm just looking at the little boy like, why are you over here disregarding your motherfucking mama? Like, don't you see her standing right here? And I feel like I see why as the episodes go on, girl. But let's keep going, okay? So the security guard, they did hire a security guard or whatever like that. But what's interesting is even though he hired her a security guard, he has access to the cameras, meaning her husband. He got access to the cameras throughout the house. So he's able to like watch her and see what she's doing, see her every move, everything from where he's at. Okay. And I don't, you know how they have security systems like on the phone. No, ma'am. He's giving very much so old school on the computer. I'm sitting in front of my computer watching everything that you're doing. And that's what makes me feel like, okay, he a different type of techie guy. Okay. He probably know how to do all kind of hacking and stuff. And I feel like he might come in handy at a later time for his wife doing some tech type shit. But we're going to see how that's going to play out. Okay. But just know the security guard ended up not lasting long. Okay. He didn't last long because he said that he has a criminal record. He has something on his background, but he didn't say what it was. So when I see that, immediately he's the first person that pops in my head. Like, is he gonna be the one to hold her up against her will? We can see that they have some type of chemistry, some type of attraction towards each other, but it hasn't gone anywhere yet. But what is this about? Okay, what kind of criminal record do you have? Like, did you do any stalking? Did you, manslaughter? Like, what's going on with him? Well, hopefully, we'll find that out at a later time. Okay, so when he gets ready to leave or whatever, Miss Jax let him know that she gonna remember him. Period. And basically, they ended up having sex. Okay, so they over there smashing, but while she's smashing him, she's looking into the camera because she knows her husband is watching her. And the crazy thing is, he's getting turned on by watching her. I don't know, but it seems like her husband just wants her to be happy, like, period. He wants her to be pleased, okay? So I guess, girl, that's what they into, girl. That's the type of freaky that they be into, girl. So if y'all like it, I love it. Go ahead and do your thing, boo. All right. So anyway, Devin McDonald is a client that Jax has. Okay. I believe he is a pro athlete. I'm not sure if it's basketball, football, but he's a pro athlete. So she learns that he allegedly assaulted a woman. She got a phone call while she was in church or whatever to address this matter, but she doesn't feel like there was actually a crime that was committed. She don't think so. She says because the woman chose to go to his hotel at her own free will, and the fact that he didn't restrain her. Now, even if he exposed his genitals to her, he didn't force her to stay. She ran out. He allowed her to run out. So because of that, she feels like, well, hey, wasn't no crime committed technically. So I don't know why you coming to me trying to tell me anything about my client. But it's like, ma'am, he exposed himself to her. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's what she was expecting or looking for or whatever. I don't know, girl. Anyway, this is what happened, okay? She says, listen, I don't think a true crime actually happened, but what I can say is that extorting my client is a crime. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out who the victim is right here. All right, we're gonna have to figure some things out. So she meets with her client, she talks to him. What she learns about this young woman is that this woman pretty much is an IG model or whatever thought, whatever the case is. She goes around to different clubs, gaining access to these professional athletes, and then pulling stunts like this, trying to get some money out of them or some clout or whatever the case is. So Jax does her research or has somebody else do it, and then she brings this information to her client. And I don't know who the person was sitting next to the client. I want to believe it was like his agent or somebody, because the agent is like, or whoever this man is like, listen, I think you should just pay her off. And Jax is like, why would you need to pay her off? What you need to do is be a man that stands against this, because this is a woman that's gotten over quite a few men, and it's a lot of women out there like her. And guess what? Because it's a lot of women out there like her, this ain't gonna be the only person to do this to you. It's gonna be somebody else, okay? So you need to stand on something, stand on principle, stand on something, and let these ladies know they can't play you like that. Like, that's dumb. Like, why would you give up all that money to keep somebody hush when you ain't do nothing? And you know what I'm saying? You're not guilty, basically. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what she ended up doing was getting more research, or at least not getting more research, but what she ended up doing was exposing the girl. So she got him to text her like, yo, I'll give you a trip over here. I'll give, because the boy was like, yeah, you right, Jax. I wish I could prove it. She came up with this plan for him to text the girl like, I'll fly you out to Paris or whatever. And when the girl responded, she incriminated herself. So because she incriminated herself, Jax decided to have those text messages leaked to the public. So now the narrative changes, and it looks as though her client isn't the guilty one. It's the young lady that's trying to get over on him. So that's what ended up happening with that client, Mr. Devin McDonald. Now, she does have another client by the name of Damon. At least he's her old client, right? And this guy is played by Michael Ealy. And I said, baby, they gonna get it on at some point because y'all just not gonna have Michael Ealy in no movie and he not gonna get touched on, filled up on, rubbed on, kissed on, and fucked on. Understand? So she used to be a public defender in his case. And what we learned is that he had been locked up for 16 years, 2 months, and 5 days for a murder that he feels he never committed and a murder that he never admitted to saying he's guilty to. And I'm confused as to how he's been locked up that long on a not guilty type of plea. So I'm confused on that. And the only thing that's standing in his way of getting out is just admitting that he's guilty to this crime. So I don't even know how that shit worked. Like, that's interesting. I'm like, so did you go to trial and then they found your ass guilty? Like, that must be what it sounds like. That maybe you went to trial, but in order for him, and he's still saying that he's not guilty. So in order for him to get out, he got to say that he's guilty, get parole. Like, that is some crazy shit to me. That is some crazy. I just hate the system so much. But anyway, girl, let's go ahead and move on. So anyway, he says that he been locked up for 16 years, 2 months, and 5 days to the T. Girl, I'm surprised he didn't know the minutes. So she just learned that he is planning on pleading guilty to a murder charge that he didn't commit to get out of prison. So she's furious. And as you could see with the client before, the Devin McDonald guy, you could see that she doesn't want him to just go along to get along if he feels like he's innocent. She wants him to fight back. Okay, so another thing about her, she leads with a bit of masculine energy of I'm team this man, I'm team these men. Talking about some I love criminals. And you love these men too, girl. Okay, she be over here heavily fighting for men, but I want to see what it's gonna be like when she gets her first female client because right now all we're seeing is her representing men so far. Okay, so she gets to the prison. She has a conversation with him. It seems like he says some things to her, like he knows her. You know what I'm saying? He speaks on her loving criminals and stuff like that. So it made me think that they may have had a history about 16 years ago. And that could have been prior to her meeting her husband because her kids seem young. I think her son is like 11, 12, or 13, somewhere up in there, maybe 12 or 13, you know. So it seems like she could have met this guy before meeting her husband. I don't know. But I think they had some type of interesting relationship, the way he grabbed her arms and rubbed her hands or whatever like that. So something, I mean, maybe they probably smashed one good night, or maybe they were feeling each other on that level, but never got a chance to really cross that line and he ended up getting locked up. You feel what I'm saying? But she just feels really sad because she didn't win that case. You know, she didn't want him to have to get locked up. She lost that case and she just couldn't take it because, you know, the system was so focused on just throwing him away. So now she's upset, like, how dare you take this plea and you're not guilty? Like, if you do this, I'll never speak to you again. And he said, well, I'm sorry, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So it is what it is. And she got pissed and she ran off and she left, okay? Now let's get to her other client, Braden. Because Braden, from my understanding, I believe he's a billionaire, somewhere close to a millionaire, billionaire. And he seeks out their services, okay? He seeks out, I guess, the white man first. Some white man he seeked out. So while they're having a company meeting, I forgot her colleague's name, but he pretty much says, hey, we got this guy, Braden Miller. You know, he owns XYZ and he wants to, you know, meet with us or whatever. And so they said that they believe it's a bit more serious than just this company. So one of the head attorneys in charge told Jax he thinks she should be a part of it because obviously he's a black guy, she's a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, they cracked a joke about it, but anyway. So the firm is gaining a new billionaire client, as I said. He seems to have been involved with an employee. When he finally gets there, Mr. Braden, to sit down with Jackson, her colleague, he says that the woman by the name of Kalisha has some damning information about the company, some damaging information. And so they was like, well, what information is it? And so he had to come out and let them know that, you know, she accusing him of SA. She's accusing him of assault. And Braden says that he didn't do it, but he did admit to having a consensual relationship with this woman. And it sounds like it was a relationship that had been going on for a while. All right. Now, what's crazy is that he says that it was nothing serious. And I said, or was it? Because it had been going on for a while. You said it was consensual, y'all smashed, but it was nothing serious. Was it not? And then he said that he cut ties with her sexually and professionally. So he had to cut her off sexually and then had to turn around and fire her. But you know what I'm wondering? Did his wife tell him to do that? Like, what was it that made him feel like he needed to, fire her and, stop having sex with her? Like, were you caring about her? Now I'm wondering, was Kalisha pregnant? Because, see, we didn't get to that part yet. I'm like, was she pregnant possibly? And, she didn't want to get rid of the baby. Because, of course, this billionaire is married and he's married to a white woman. So my question is, like, what's going on? What's going on with that? Like, is the woman pregnant or what's happening here? But anyway, let's go ahead and keep going. So Brayden says that because she left the company and stuff, she knows a lot of company secrets, and because they had an affair or whatever, he wants her to sign an NDA. Right? But when he learns that Jax specializes in criminal law, he over there asking her why is she there if she doesn't handle what he needs her to handle. And he was kind of like rude or whatever like that. And she's like, well, now that you done mentioned SA and assault or whatever, like now that you done mentioned that, then it does become criminal. So it makes sense as to why I'm here. So he comes off as though he has this lack of regard for women, or he deems women to not be as smart. And it's just real interesting and fake how he showed himself up in episode 1, because by episode 3 or 2, I think it's episode 2 maybe, he shows up as a completely different person, and then he opens up about how his wife was there for him before he even became who he is right now. So I'm a little fucking confused as to why you feel a way about this woman here that's handling damn business when your wife was handling business before you became who the hell you are. So then also I'm like, do you have an issue with black women as to why you say that? But you was over here messing around with a black woman. Huh. Like, I don't know what's going on with Brayden girl, but something just ain't making sense. But anyway, so later on we ended up seeing that Kalisha was about to sign that NDA, right? She came to the attorney's office. She was getting ready to sign it, but then they started telling her some of the restrictions and things that she can't do after she signs it and stuff. And then she just decided to rip it up and then get the hell up out of there. But when she leaves, she runs into Jax and she lets her know, like, listen, the next time a black woman tells you that she's been assaulted, then, you need to believe her. And that's crazy for Kalisha to do that to her. Because again, as the episodes go on, girl, Kalisha, you was out here living a lie too. But at the same time, I will say this. Two things can exist. A woman can have a consensual relationship with the man, and then he could have also assaulted her as well. So we'll just have to see what's going to happen with that particular situation. Um, I also don't know why that upsetted Jax so much. Because once Kalisha said that to her, she ran to her office and she started crying, getting on her knees and praying and stuff like that. And I'm just like, why is she going through that? Hopefully that shows itself at a later time. But all she said is that you need to believe her. So what is that about? Like, what? Are you feeling like, did you have another case that didn't work out? Like, I didn't understand that. So if y'all understood it, let me know. Later on, Brayden learns that Kalisha didn't sign the paperwork. So what he says to the white man is that, oh, I guess the other lady was right. First of all, just like a disregard. And he said, I guess the other attorney was right. I guess the other one was right. He was like, who you talking about? Jax? And he was like, no. He said something like the black one or whatever. And he was like, talking about Jackson. He was like, yeah. He was like, well, her name is Jacqueline, whatever. And he was like, okay. I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know. Something's off. Let me know. Anyway, so he learns that Kalisha didn't sign the paperwork. So he said, it's cool. I'll make sure that he said it seems like I'm gonna have to pay her a visit or something, and I'll make sure she signs it. I'm gonna give it to her whether she wants it or not. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because when you say that, it doesn't sound good, considering the fact that you're going up against a woman that's saying that you assaulted her. So what? So I'm gonna give it to her whether she wants it or not. Are you okay? Are you okay? That's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, he's gonna go see Kalisha. But y'all know that Jax ended up smashing the security guard. Well, tell me why when she smashed him, she woke up the next morning only to find out that Kalisha is dead. Okay, she's dead after the night that Braden stopped by to see her. So we don't know what happened to Kalisha, but that is going to be the mystery, and it seems like it's going to be the mystery for the rest of the season, uncovering the murder of Miss Kalisha and learning more about, these different characters, Mr. Braden and Damon, okay, and some other little cases filtered in there. But that's all I got for episode 1. You guys let me know your thoughts about everything. I'm Jamie, that's me, honey. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamie, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.